Alright, well welcome back. So we're going to be going over a new plot design that I have later in the video, and we're just going to continue tracking along. We're going to build out the Flexo Deluxe, as I call it. I've had some time to play around with the plot points, and I've come up with something that's actually really good. We're also going to talk about some of the things I've been reading and hearing, and start testing some things. Some people are noting they're getting different yields on different patches of land. Don't know if that's true. It's just pandemonium right now. Everyone's kind of guessing, right? So we're not going to make any assumptions, but we are going to ask questions, and we are going to start looking at things. All right. We did get the manor up. We definitely are going to build a castle. We're going to build this out. That is a must. That is why we have the quarry. But everything is doing very well. So let's let's actually just do it. So we need a pretty big area. Now we're going to have our castle right here. So this design is actually going to require a bit of woodland area. So let me just kind of think for a second how I want this to be. We want to protect the mushrooms over here. So honestly, since I'm not going to be foresting this area, I feel like this is actually a very proper place for the Flexo. The Flexo Deluxe, I should say. That's right, got to use the full thing. So we're going to go back to our wonderful corpse pits, and what we're going to do is line ourselves up, and we're going to get our corners going here. So this is really easy. It's really easy. What we're going to have, I mean, honestly, let's just line it up here. We're going to have our 3 corpse pits in a row. I'm actually going to turn the snap the road tool off. Now this is important, and I'm going to go over some things that plots really hate curviness in this game. So this is really easy. All you're going to do is, like a slight little middle finger, pure Flexo style. You're going to put the line up here, and then you're going to delete every single one of the corpse pits. This is actually probably my easiest design ever. And you're going to go from corner to corner, and just let the thing snap, right? And then you have this. Now, you can build on whatever side you want, but I personally have found the best place to build, we're going to turn the snap to road tool back on, is on the large side. And I'll show you why. And then you're going to put your 3rd point here and your 4th point here. So 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point. Fold back. Look at that. Every time I do this, I get this massive yard. Now, the collection point's going to be here, so they have to travel from here to the furthest distance. So you can have different designs. And if you try it from here to here, I have not had luck in getting this to work. You lose a lot of room. So I'm finding this to be a very valuable way to produce a lot of food. And as you increase, your housing and your tiers, you're going to have more workers, because they do have to plow the field after harvesting now, which they didn't have to do before. So that creates an issue. And what's cool about this is once you know what you're doing, you just come to the long side. So this is now the other end, right? So all I do is place that, go up 1, and go up 1. So a classic bender, right? We're still using the bender, but we're using it as a guide now, as a way to kind of modular these in. And so this is a little wonky. I didn't do a good job in this example. But then that's all we're doing now is using the bender as our basis. But it's really cool that I got to use the bender, and now we're kind of making, old school triangles with it. And then again, from snap road tool, from this point all the way down, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Look at that. Perfect angle. This is probably one of the easiest ones I've ever created. It works every time. This might be like the best one for that reason. And look at the walking distance and everything. Like, I just put a granary over here, and not as cool as it used to be in optimization ways, but it's really, really good. And we can do anything we want with this. So we're going to take this point, I'm going to round it into this point like that, and that's going to create our nice little area. So now we have 2 areas where we can grow veggies or apples. And I'm going to be doing a lot of series on Manor Lords. We're going to be playing the hell out of Manor Lords. Knowing what I know now and having the new Flexo design, the next city I do is going to be old school TactiCat. We are going to be building an optimal city, knowing what I know now. For this instance, though, we're just going to keep building out our army, building out our crossbowmen that we started, and trekking along. So we'll get there. Now, I also show in the Flexo design how you can actually extend this just by using corpse pits to create a bigger area for apples. I will say, if it were me doing this, what I would actually do is just go like no thought. And remember what I said about curves? This is really dangerous with plotting right now. You want to make sure all your roads when you're doing these plots are perfectly straight. So realistically, there's nothing wrong with just doing a very simple apple orchard anymore. There's no punishment for it, really. Apples are like one of the things that you don't have to think about too much. So we're going to just build a disgusting apple orchard. We don't even need this. I am just kind of playing around with the excess portion. I want to see how much food I can make. Now, since we do have mushrooms over here, and we do have a lot of other things over here, I think a granary right around these parts would be pretty wise. We'll put it right here. So what I also like about the V is you can see it can easily move along the roads to the houses. So from the granary to this house, from the granary to this house, from the granary all the way over here to this house. This is where it sucks. So you may even come with a V format, right? And then do one giant V and then have granaries on opposing sides with 1 or 2 workers. I have some ideas. We're going to create a pyramid city, essentially. And that's going to be pretty cool. So let's keep going. So one of the big things that people are talking about now that we are getting wool is clothing production is pretty difficult. So we have our weaver's workshop now, and we have wool that we're going to turn into yarn to meet the needs of our people who only have firewood and some food types. We have carp, mushrooms, carrots. We're doing a good job. Mainly what we're trying to do is build up the population so that we can fend for ourselves. Getting that stone. Our yield is modest. As I discussed, you don't need guides from me anymore about what's happening in the background of the game. They are finally showing us production values. And so it's cool because now I can just teach you designs and tools and how to play the game and those kind of tips. And I don't like, because it's a waste of time to spend 30-40 hours trying to figure some of this stuff out. Now granted, I am still probably going to do some testing based off of different plant types and yields and things like that. So there's still some room for background information there, but yeah. And someone had said, okay, and here's the reason why this new design is good. So the first row is removed to make room for the gathering point, right? So this is the point at which they're walking and delivering goods, which this kind of sucks, right? Because you got to go all the way over here. But the dead loss of land is one of the lowest on this design. And so you get a lot out of what you're doing here. And then over here, boom, apples. So we're going to have a bunch of apples right there. So this is going to bring in a lot of food. Now we can choose different types. So I'm going to choose cabbage here. And we're going to choose the beetroots here. And we can see. So I was pulling about 150-ish carrots on the other one. And we're also going to kind of test the yield, right? So daily labor and efficiency. The efficiency is from the affinity. I think someone may be mistaken saying where it was placed on land is causing an increase. I think that they were talking about the meadow bonus. So there's a lot of guessing right now as people try to figure things out. So I try to keep an open mind and investigate things I hear, but also most of the time it's probably not true. So we'll just, continue to test things with that knowledge that things are there. Now, I did hear there was some information going around that potentially having a larger burgage plot for chickens increases chicken yields. That has been confirmed by people who are community mods as not true. So you do not get more chicken eggs for having a bigger burgage plot. But you will likely get more chicken eggs if you can increase your efficiency or labor. So that's something to explore. But the size of the plot itself does not influence any yields there right now. That I feel confident saying. But, if I'm wrong, call me out on it. But I'm relaying information that I think is very reliable based on sources of people who I know have been playing this game and are very passionate about it. And this is a moderator who has actually more information than I do about the game. So he's probably right. And we're doing okay. We're getting the food variety. We're getting the general goods. But this is where it starts. A man and his yarn. So we're doing great. Get some yarn one day. We got one. Okay, so no pasture, yield none. There's definitely some pastures going on. And this is cool. Yeah, and this is going to be a lot of apples. So I've grown apples before. I don't like quinces. Quinces get a low yield, but they take 2. Pears, it's going to cost us 234. So yeah, we're going to go with apples. People are really against building big plots because they say they cost more. That's erroneous. Like, in my view, just make some money, dude. Just open a trade post and make some cash. If you do that, then you can just do whatever you want. And, you know, we got a goat. And I'm pretty sure. What was the name of this goat? Oh, can we name our goats? I really want to name my goat. Gerhaz. That sounds like a name I would name a goat. Edling. Okay. Well, these goats are not able to amend their goathood, so we'll keep them as is. Yeah, we're testing some stuff out. We got ourselves... We definitely want to get backyard extensions for apiaries to get that increased yield, even though I'm producing a level of food which is just outrageous. Completely unnecessary. Let's put one person in here. Let's boot that up to a large granary. We're doing the Lord's work here. Now, another thing I can tell you, because I love to read Discord and I haven't had enough time to do it. One of the things that they did was they increased the area of the minefield, right? So let me get a mine. So you see how you can fit way more mines? But if you have more than one, you can see there it says increased collapse chance. So the more mines you have on a node, the more chance for accidents when they're down there. So keep that in mind. Now, personally, I don't care if any of these people perish as long as I'm making money. So to me, the risk is acceptable. But for those who are risk averse, that is something to be aware of. I'm a bad man. All right, let's get another ox. And the trade post is doing great. Let's put another family in there. We're going to have to start getting into farming here pretty soon to get some more food types. So let's take a gander. So we can see right now that they need fruits or animal produce. And so there is supposed to be like milk. And I don't know if we don't get that from the goats. We should get it from the goats, but we don't. Okay. Let's look at some of these backyard extensions, right? So we got the chickens, we got the orchards, we got the apiaries, got all this jazz. We got a tailor's workshop, which I think we have to have a tailor's workshop in order to make clothing. Okay, so this is where people are getting confused about why am I not getting... It's just clothing now. Okay, so textiles... textiles is textiles, but the need, I believe, the commodities is clothing, shoes, and beverages. So what these individuals want, if we come over here, is not a textile. They want straight clothing. So you need to create wool, you need to create all that, and then you need to create a tailor's workshop. And so we can make clothes from wool, and we can make clothes from linen. So we're going to be making our clothing from wool, which is in the yarn. We could also make camisons if we get linen going. Linen would be a very smart thing to produce. Farming, I think, is going to really be important. I'm not going to put a production limit on that, but so a lot of people were asking, what do you do here to get clothing, myself included? And this is what you need to do. You need to get a tailor's workshop up and start producing clothing from wool. So getting just 2 sheep, because they did remove the tech tree, you used to have a tech point in order for your sheep to start breeding. Getting 2 sheep at the very earliest part of the game is going to be incredibly beneficial for you, because you don't have to farm linen by hand. Like the sheep just take like one dude, you know, with a stick, you're just watching them, and you're producing a good amount of wool. Now this is only really viable though for very small population cities. If you're going to have a massive city, you are going to have to get into some pretty serious linen production. And so I'm going to go through a lot of my observations, try to give you guys what my impression is after, you know, I've spent an enormous amount of time in Manor Lords. It's been very successful for my channel, so I put in the time to understand the previous game on a deep level, and I'm just going step by step through what I'm seeing and what I think's happening. But again, remember that they do have to completely redo everything on these lands now. So farms are going to be very labor intensive. So when you do get this to a tier 3 and you have more families per plot, it's going to be really better. And we already picked our development point, but there is a development point which allows you to specialize the field so that it has a higher rate of production, but that those workers are tied to this burgers plot. So in my next gameplay, that is going to be what we pick, so we could explore what happens when you over specialize burgers plots. I'm really excited because there's an enormous amount of playability and playthroughs that I can do. So I do anticipate there's going to be quite a bit going on. You see we have 6 lambs on our 6 sheep. So we're going to continue to get wool coming in. And I am anticipating now that our general goods... There we go, we just got our first clothing. And clothing is consumed now just like firewood, alright? And people are having a really hard time keeping up with clothing. I'm hearing people are having multiple shops trying to produce it. So efficiency is going to be a really big deal. You can see that my design is currently not efficient whatsoever. Your artisan shops, ideally, should be like centered around a large storehouse. And so in the next series, we are going to explore efficiency at a much higher level. Right now, we're just going to talk about the changes about... I went Canadian for a second. I'm from California. I just moved to Indiana, and it's like Canadian osmosis. We're going to talk about this stuff. Anyway, okay. Sorry. 2 cups of coffee, 4 hours of sleep. I am rambling. We need some meat over here. We need an Arby's over here. We'll be good. Let's get everybody up. Yeah, this is great. Look how many freaking trees that is, though. It's kind of beautiful. Yeah, but don't be afraid to just plant a big old thing like that. Yeah, we're doing great. Okay, so we are crafting stone into dress stone. I say for the dress stone, we go a little bit bigger. And let's open this cast planner. So we do have the boards and everything. So if we want to up these, we need mortar. Okay. And I believe I'm kind of scared to do this improperly. So let's actually just start like massing the material so we can do it all in one go. And so we need mortar production. All right, here we go. Lime kiln turns rubble into mortar. We're going to place it right here. So it's really cool because you can have multiple quarries, right? And you could have a mining town and shape stone and sell it. So having more regions is going to be really advantageous. They're changing the game. Now, people are complaining about the AI cities. AI cities currently are not raising armies when they're attacked, so you can just instantly, take them over, essentially. So these guys don't pose any threat. The AI is still very, very new. And so that's an interesting thing to note. And I just wanted to kind of point that out, that I'm actually really not at any threat currently. What you're seeing really isn't a good representation of what the game is going to be. What you're seeing is the framework, and I think every month now we're going to be getting some of these core features unlocked, and it's going to be interesting. But as I stated, these plots won't hit their full potential until you get those extra families. And now, because they have to completely replant, they have to come in and completely redo all the dirt and then plant everything. I think that this right here, as you can see, 2 families did this much, 2 more families. I don't think you want to go bigger than this. I don't think you can. I don't think you would have enough labor force, unless it was that specialized burgers plot I talked about where they work on it all year long. I mean, that's a question, right? Like, how big can you get things? Because I guarantee you that changes everything a lot. Apples have always been weird. Apples have always been okay. And per the figures I was getting, apples are about half of what veggies are. And that seems about right. So, like, if you have 2 Morgans of veggies, you want 4 Morgans of apples. So I still think that they're encouraging it, but this is an assumption just based off of yields. I'm assuming that because, if I need 2-to-2 or 1-to-1 ratio, I'm going to need twice as much land for apples. And those bastards stole my iron. Okay, so we got the tailor shop going. We need to get church access. We need to get booze. We need to get meat and fish. And so now that the game requires a meat source, it's not enough just to have fish. Like, we do need pigs. You do need to think about that. So we're going to get some oinkers over here, I think. Animal pen. And this is actually kind of scary, because I think it's going to be really hard to manage large populations. Or you're going to have to, as I said, come in to a region and specialize it for the food that you need. and then trade. Trade for those food items. All right, the lime kiln is ready to go. Let's get that up. Let's go to the advanced tab. I don't really want them to do more than 80 mortar. This is where they make the mortar. That's really cool. We've got a big old pit. Oh, and they go underneath. Oh, that is neat. I like this a lot. Looking good. Yeah, so we went from this funky, we went from trying to do the original, right? The Brondo corners to this. I really actually like this. It doesn't look fancy. It's got good ground logistics and it has good yields. That's what I like about it. All right. Yeah, we're not able to keep up with clothing whatsoever. So this is interesting. It's definitely a lot harder. And we have the granary over here helping with apples and veggies. We should start producing a lot here soon. We come over here to production. We're going to see a modest yield of 16, which makes no sense. So they just didn't get to anything yet. Okay. There we go. Yeah, our modifiers are okay. We got to let them get to it. There we go. We got some good stuff going on here. So if we open the castle planner now. So we want not only the wall, but ooh. So I had this problem. You see how it's putting it on the outside? Okay. That's kind of funny, right? This actually might be why you want to do these things in tandem. So this should be behind. So it's being weird. I actually got it to work yesterday too. I actually may be able to get this to work. Maybe I can pull it over. There we go. It was we're gonna just need to delete these and face them correctly. So it's something we did. It just didn't like. There we go. This is really cool. I think what we're gonna do is this. Kind of angle it. I just think that looks cool. Oh, look at that. We got the stone fort too. This is awesome, dude. This looks so good. Yeah, we put our walls on backwards, you know. My first time. My first time. Okay, I'm pushing way too many buttons, sorry. Don't look at me. Don't look at me while I put it. I think, yeah, so you can see this is still outside. So this is telling us, so we want to come from the other direction. We want to come from, yeah, this would suck if you built your castle and then you realize you put everything on. There we go. Yeah, so you gotta be kind of careful about which direction you're coming from. But it all kind of lines up. And it looks like it should work. So we need 110 boards, 120 of that. Mortar is actually cheap. Wood is cheap. Okay, we can do all of this. So 110 boards, 120 of this. We need to increase our maximums here. Okay, so 200. And then for boards, we need to come over here to the saw pit. Go to advance. I'm just going to increase this as well to 200. And we're just going to let that cook in the background, and then we'll upgrade everything. But we'll be able to fight from our walls with our crossbowmen. And they are going to add sieges at some point. Well, you saw that siege tent, so we could build catapults and things like that. Okay, look at this. We get some piggies. So the piggies are going to give us a strong passive yield of pork. And we'll be able to see exactly how much we're getting. But we do need to get some more meat. So, like I said, it's going to be difficult to get big cities. You're going to have to really manage your resources now in the game. I think that makes it fun. You're not going to be able to go big like you used to. But, you know, you're going to have a good time. I think you're going to have a good time. Now, the efficiency... Now, we're running into what I would call an efficiency issue because we may just not have enough yarn. Let's check it out. Productivity is 45%. Labor and transportation, and 55% of the time they're waiting. Now, that to me indicates that we do not have enough yarn, and we don't. So we need more sheep. So essentially, we're bottlenecked by yarn. I don't think you can get around needing linen, and a lot of linen, to be honest. So what you're probably going to end up doing is creating like a town that just produces clothing, and then, you know, create a town like this that's built around farming, and you trade food for clothing. So I knew they would do this, and I talked about this, how they're going to make it so that, well, you can't just sit in one region. They're going to make it so that you need multiple regions in order to have vibrant cities. So, you know, I exchange food, they give clothing. Another place gives meat to the other two places for clothing and other food types. So that's the way it's going to go. You know, we're going to have a farming area, and they're going to trade, you know, bread to us for nothing, because I want it for free. Trummer Ho. I don't know what the name we should use, but I like what it's saying. We'll just call it TactiCat for now. Okay. Get some more piggies. Alright, so now we got the oinkers. And yeah, there's just a few of them. Yield is currently none, but that will change. We'll have a good thing going here pretty soon. Okay. Yeah, these guys are doing pretty good. We definitely need to upgrade these houses. Get them to tier 3 at some point. Tier 2. Start getting alcohol production. We're at 78% approval. Not bad. The church. We just need tiles now. So let's see. We got clay over here. We should put the clay. One thing I hate is if I scroll out a boundary, it have to come out and in again to get the thing to work. Alright, let's get the clay tile maker over here. Get ourselves a mining pit right here. Get this stuff out of here. Oh, we do have a bit of hide. Oh, we're getting hides from... Interesting. Okay, yeah, we're getting hides from the piggies, and I think maybe the goat. No, the goat. Yeah, we're getting it from the goat. So we're gonna definitely want a tannery. And I think the tannery might make clothing now instead. That will be an interesting one to see. Yeah, I really like the changes they've made. It definitely requires a bit of thought. But I know after I play for a bit, I'm gonna get it all down again. So we want to get the clay furnace going. We want to get one individual getting as much clay as possible. We do have iron coming in. I don't think we need that much iron. I'm going to take one person out. Alright, now we're just waiting on the stone. We're getting close to that. I think I'm going to boot that up to 2 folk. Yeah, we have 367 rebel. Boot that up. Get it going. Now we got someone in the clay furnace. Get that going. Get the tier 2 church. That's going to help us. I would really like to get to tier 3. We have all food types now, so we have carrots and mushrooms. I think that they potentially are consuming one, like, I don't think consumption potentially works the way it used to anymore. I don't know. So let's actually look and see if we can read. Requirements are broken down into 3 categories: food, commodity, amenities. Food and commodities are supplied by the marketplace. Amenities are service provided. Fulfilling individual requirements provides approval, and fulfilling all the requirements allows upgrading burridge plots. So, I don't know. I do know that they are consuming clothing and fuel, but they still may only be consuming one of the foods. This is going to be the toughest thing to determine. It's going to require a lot of testing. I guess we could just look at consumption, and the easiest way is to see if consumption goes up. The problem I have right now is that these records aren't very good. Consumption does not seem to be, like, right. It shows things, right? It shows, but it's showing like no consumption. And over here it's showing slight consumption. But this consumption does not add up for 7 days. For 12 months, maybe. Okay, maybe it is. And to me this is actually pretty easy to read. So we need to stabilize our population, have no one coming in or out. And then we can divide our population by consumption, and that will tell me exactly what's going on here. Okay, this is easy. This is very, very easy. So we're looking at least 160 to 250 consumption over a year, 31 people, 31 families. That's 8 consumption over 12 months. So that would be 1 food per family, well, way less. So it does kind of feel like they are still consuming everything equally. But in what order? Before it used to be easy. Are they consuming, you know, equal carrots, beetroots, cabbage kind of thing, you know what I mean? Which would decrease the consumption of other things like meat. And, you know, everything's eaten equally. So every type of vegetable, if it's 5 of everything, but then I have I add 2 more categories and then it's 4 of everything, that means it's 1 less of meat being consumed and stuff like that. Which means that you could drown out meat consumption actually occurring just by creating as many different types of vegetables, fruits as possible. So that's the kicker, right? Is the more variety of those things I have, the less consumption, if it's acting off of the old mechanics. So that's the question. And that should be reflected in these records. We should see equal consumption. And well, you see production is 2 and 2. So this doesn't tell you the whole picture, right? The production of carrots is 86, production of cabbage. We just started producing cabbage, so we would need to run this for a bit. Beetroots is 43, consumption 16. Apples is production 68, consumption is 61. This is very confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Honey is 12 and 12. Eggs is 10 and 10. This part actually isn't so it is. It is consuming equal parts. You can tell because the honey is being consumed. And the carp is being consumed. How it's doing this, though? How much it's actually consuming? And if it's using the old system is the question. I need to talk to some people. Because it's going to take me too long to figure that one out. Not crazy long, actually. I think what you want to do is try it with 2 types of veggies, right? And see if it's consuming equally from those or just like random. And then try it with veggies and fish and see if it's consuming equally. But I know they said that it does consume more. But I'm not seeing that they're consuming, which is crazy. That's what's kind of baffling me. Okay, upgrade the church once we get the tiles. We have a bit of tileage going on now. We are so close. We are so close to having a cool little castle. It's going to be a lot harder to hit those things now. So food types available is 5 out of 3. But it's counting cabbage, beetroots, and carrots as a food type available. And that doesn't align with what they want, because they want animal produce and fruits. And we'll have plenty of fruits here soon. Probably get a good chunk of apples, but we're going to need a lot of apples. That's kind of cool. It shows the 2 burgers plot. Shows what's going on. It's really cool. Our yield in the last 30 days, 1 egg and no meat. Very sad. Upgrading the church is definitely the priority right now. Okay, let's see. It's been a couple of months now. Oh, 98 out of 120. We're getting close. The stonemasons are in there just chipping away. Chipping away. Productivity 29%. Extensions. So there's labor, transportation, and extensions. Extensions to me means their backyard extensions. And so they're spending all this time with their piggies, I think. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I've seen this happen. I think they're just lazy. I think that's what's going on. Yield is none. Right, yeah, and you can see they're at work. But it's going to be... I want to get to the tier 3 houses so we can see if we can get the max yield of food. Boot this up. And I believe we actually do have enough for the church now, right? No. Okay. We have 8 roof tiles. It's taking... Yeah, things are taking a lot longer. And I think this was to make trade a little bit more impactful. There's a good amount of meat. We got pork in there. We got lots of food. We definitely have a higher food variety. See here that they're not even using the pork because they're using the apples, hopefully. But we may need to overstock our things to get... Okay, there we go. Never mind. 96%. 98. Okay, we're getting there. Clothing, though, everyone is commenting on my videos now just how insane clothing is to even attempt. So, I mean, we could try. And I don't know how much they changed farming. Imagine it's a lot. And of course, I built my thing over here on the best farmland. Okay. We're just going to do some very simple half Morgan fields. And yeah, we can use our sheep to fallow on these. That's pretty cool. Get ourselves a little road over here. If we get all of this, we'll just cancel that out. Alright, look at that. So close. Thing's teasing me, man. 9 roof tiles. Okay. Harvest season is ended. Alright. That's for farming, though. That's not for these guys. They're still going. There we go. Yeah, so this is interesting. They're picking up and they're fallowing at the same time. That could be causing some bottlenecks there, too. Got our guys digging down there. How you doing, Bartholomew's? Alright, so let's get a farmhouse up. Get a farmhouse up right back here. Leave some room for some cooler castle stuff. So, you know, the old way of doing things is you can do wheat. You could actually do barley. Oh yeah, they give you rye now. We can make rye bread. I wonder what distinction they're making if it's less desirable. But rye is always going to have the highest fertility. I'm wondering if it has, let's see, rye grain, farmhouse that could be processed further into rye flour. So I don't know what reason you would do wheat. Interesting. Yeah, barley's really weak here, and flax. So we just need to rotate these in a way. We'll do barley, flax, rye. Here, we'll do rye. Oh, rye in the second. Flax in the first. Barley in the third. That gives us a perfect rotation. We'll get like 1 or 2 people out here just slowly starting to bring in some stuff. Start exploring. And I think we can do this now, please. No, we're 11 away. Right, we're doing great. Getting a lot of cabbages. Over here we're getting a lot of that purple stuff. A lot of trees. And our livestock is growing. We are going to fence in these fields, so they should come over here. These are pretty far away, so I don't know how well that's going to work. I do like that we don't have to have technology to use these things anymore, though. It's been pretty awesome. And how many burgers plots? We have 31. Okay, so we're going by, you know, 20s, which I still think that it is. Actually, yeah, we're going to do some more plots over here. Get some more families. Oh my god, that is the ugliest housing I've ever seen. Do this right. Okay, there we go. Alright, yeah, we'll get a bunch of doubles. We'll use less firewood. I don't think that it really matters. We have lots of it. Wow, that means we can get a plowing station for free now. That's so cool. Okay, yeah, we'll get 1 family out here. See what they can do. We'll need some more families here. We're gonna need to start pulling people. I don't think that we need too many clay tiles currently. Let's pull back on getting any clay and producing any clay just for the time being. Pull back here. So we got the tier 2 church going up right now finally. And then tier 3 is a little bit of ways. We need beverage. Yeah, we need booze anyway. So we have to set that all up. That'll be great. You know, I think we're looking a little droughty right now, but things are going our way. Yeah, the old school plots though, you know, this thing didn't yield too much. You know, it's yield... we have to ignore that. We have to wait till we get a proper yield, but, you know, I think it was yielding like 30-ish. And then this guy over here was yielding crazy numbers. 8. And he was yielding like 250. When it said 250 in the last year, I think it was counting both yields. Like, I think it's closer to like 125 to 150. Or 125 on that guy. So that's another problem is, and I noticed that even in the last game, is it would sometimes double count. It would like count last year's and this year's in total, so you have to be kind of careful with those numbers. Alright, there we go, we're getting some families coming in. But let's just make sure that we can get as many people as possible, start building out that army. I'm not worried about the lords anymore. We're going to get rid of archers and just go all in on our crossbow units. Yeah, they're doing great. They're all happy. We continue to make tools. Let's get another ox. Trade seems to be doing all right. The tannery, we can now get that going because we are getting hides. And we have a lot of things in the pasture. I don't know if they're going to come out here. Oh, we don't have any fallow... I'm a dork. We have to have a fallow year for them to come out here. So if I want more sheep, Anna, you know I do. You know that we need wool. We're gonna build another pasture. Then increase the space 29 more. We'll make sure we get as much as possible here. We don't need the livestock trader anymore, so we can take that gent out. And the sheep farm, it says yield none, but who knows if I actually need to get more people. I've always been able to get away with one. The weaver's workshop, yield is none. So, I mean, getting wool is the bottleneck there. And we're getting a lot of people coming in. Get these all to tier 2. Yeah, probably should get another apiary up. I feel like it. Probably get more animal pens up. There's a lot of good stuff here. I guess we can make armor too. And we have iron. It's just crazy. I just realized that there's nothing holding us back from doing anything now. All the technology is available. I keep forgetting that. Okay, let's get another individual. I'm tempted to get a plowing station, but I didn't do a good job here. But we'll get a plowing station. I should have made these a little bit more strippy. It may hinder us. And we're doing 3 fields. That's 1.5, so we need probably about 3 families to do this properly, in my opinion. Got a few more ox areas. Order an ox, make it a stable. Alright, now we can assign 2 ox to this place, and they should plow twice. Let's get 4 families in the farmhouse. I want to just see what we can get going. And we come over here. We have enough granary workers. Nice. And yeah, it's clothing. Clothing is holding us back in so many ways. So yeah, the tailor shop is there. I wish we could produce more than one good at a time. Once we get linen, so over here even, at the weaver's workshop, we have no limits on anything, so it should produce both. We'll see what happens once they get over here. But yes, the AI is not doing anything. I mean, it's building out, but they're very tame. It's mostly just for my amusement to come over here and steal. That's kind of cool too, because you can come and just take a pre-built town with all the people there already, I'm pretty sure. And then you can destroy housing and, you know, build it to your image and create a cool little place. It might be a way to get another little trade town going quicker. You don't have to wait on the population to come in, it's already there. And you can always, yeah, just tear down the houses and build them in the proper fashion. But it's going to take me a bit to get the booze running. Okay, so the plows are working. They got 2. Oh, wow. Yeah, even on this, the plow is actually doing a little bit better than the people. That's not bad. That is not bad. Yeah, typically you want these longer and strippier, but this isn't very bad at all. You can... Those were really fast. That was just 1 family each, and they did it. I had, like, a ton of people out on this other field. Alright, so we'll see if barley fertility and all that goes down as we do this, but we're not going to get much barley. 24. My understanding is you need at least, like, a 30%... Oh, wow. 26 barley. So they've revamped this, too. You used to get really shitty yields if it was under 30% fertility. So it looks like almost the percentage is, like, slightly correlated. Oh, no, it's going down now. It's going down now. And yeah, tab, here we go. 15, 4, 7. We didn't get enough planted. The ox I think took a little too long, but they started in an off year, so next year they'll do better. And we're gonna need meat if we're gonna keep people happy. Hey, we're getting meat over here, but over here, oh, we're getting beetroots, mushrooms, carp, and apples instead of animal produce. So just clothing and booze. We got the secondary church up. Great. 83% of people don't hate me. That's always a good place to be. Okay, I think it's time for the manor. Oh my god, 110? What is going on? I booted up to 10. I don't know what's going on here. They took forever. We have a large storehouse here. It's got plenty of people. I think we're producing decent amounts of wool and all those things. Oh boy. Enemy has been spotted. Where is me? Oh, he's right over there. Alright, so we got 3 Yeah, 3 banditos. And I got a pretty sizable force here. Resources added to inventory. Okay. Taking some stuff with them. Okay. So we definitely want to go into shield wall. Our retinue, do something a little different. These gents, we want them to be 2x2s. Crossbow militia. Let's see how things interact. Everything just feels sharper. I don't know, it's just if it's just because, you know, I'm playing on 4K. Everything just feels so crisp now. I mean, it's probably the 4K. But yeah, our men are ready. We definitely should be busting out armors with the iron supply that we have. There's no reason why I shouldn't be at least, you know, doing helmets. You need to be tier 3 though if you want to wear the mail. Gambitsons, all that kind of stuff. They supposedly did a lot with combat as far as making it potentially harder. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't had too many attacks. I don't think we have an outside lord. We don't have an outside lord. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That guy has a sword and shield. He's looking tough. Yeah. I mean, they're outlaws, but they're not too terrible looking. And there's a lot of them. There's 4 of them. It's actually pretty beefy. So luckily we have 2 crossbow units. And a shield wall. Yeah, spear are actually pretty amazing. Just, I think like 2 full spear units and 4 crossbow like I was using before is pretty ideal. And of course, you know, a bunch of retinue. So crossbow volley, just took out 1 of them. Let's see if we can get a little bit more death here. Not enough. Not enough death. We need to route this unit or we're going to be having some problems. There we go. We got one. Little blood splatter over there. Here they come. Running down the line. Oh, yeah, that guy just got messed up. Down to 7. That's good. Let's shoot him from behind. Here we go. Okay, yeah, crossbows are just disintegrating these units. Here we go. Crossbow volley. Very good. See, our retinue are fighting valiant. Oh my gosh. That was nasty. That is one thing, like, I do feel like my crossbow units should have just totally killed everyone in my retinue team. So, that's one thing that they probably should work on. But now we have all these dead bodies. So yeah, I think the church dude only builds your dude, so, or buries your guys, so we will need a corpse pit over here. I don't know, like before, if you just like wait a while, they just like go away. That's really nice. Look at all the pretty flowers. But yeah, let's get a corpse pit up here. Get these things buried so we don't get a massive negative. And we got good public order. We got good regional wealth. We can start taxing. So we should definitely do that. Get this built up as a priority. Well, we need this pit. Alright, let's get 1 person into the pit. Bury all these poor souls. We got a lot of food. I think that they are eating like the 1-for-1 ratios. They don't seem to be consuming a lot of food. I guess we should put 1 family into the church just to be nice. And look over here. Terrible yields, but doesn't it look pretty? Yeah, it looks very pretty. So we'll get that going. I mean, farmland, I really hoping I can get one with good farmland. I think the best setup would be... That's the one thing, though, is it is kind of nice having a bunch of stone, because I don't know how you would afford all this. And maybe you can... You need a rich deposit to put the quarry down, so... Yeah, it's a slow process. We'd have to import and purchase all of this stone. We're making progress. I'll put 1 more dude down in here to keep things going a little faster. When we come over here, we can see how much we got. 2! Okay, yeah. We're gonna have to wait for a harvest for sure. Yeah, it's only showing last 30 days on these farm plots. Now we could try looking at the records, but I didn't find the records to be very accurate. So, let's check it out. Apples. 12 months. Yeah, it's showing apple production going from a high 134 down, 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 down. This actually looks correct. So that's interesting. Maybe it just takes a little bit of time for this thing to get right. And carrots? Okay, carrots is actually correct now. Oh, this is stock. This is stock. My bad. Yeah, my bad. This is how much we physically had. That makes a whole lot of sense. Production doesn't make any sense. It says 75. That says 0. It says we made no carrots. And that's just not true. 109 one year, and then nothing. Yeah, so there's something going on with the way it's calculating. Maybe I need to select and nope. Yeah, stock seems to be working accurately, and this is kind of good too, because this will tell you. I mean, this will right over here. It does tell you the production though. The graph doesn't work, but it does tell you total production. So 146, 146 between this guy and this guy that just got started, and then a lot of veggies from the other two dudes. I'll get a handle of this stuff, and I'll be able to better describe what these things are. But we're doing great, and I may have actually been getting more apples from this than I realized. It may be on par. All right, let's do it. Got a lot of firewood. We're 2 stone away from our cool castle. That's going to take a lot to build. We're getting a solid 60 FPS on 4K, so that's good. We got this giant lake. I don't know why I picked the map with the lake. I thought it looked cool. This would probably be the coolest place to build. I mean, build a whole little lakeside community, right? I on the other hand, chose to build all the way over here. If I were to do this again, I would pick potentially even this spot here. But I feel like this is the cool one. I feel like this is the cool one right here. This looks neat. Looks like a really cool place to build. But we'll probably pick a different map next time. There are rivers where you can fish, and I want to get a fishing river. Alright, we buried all the dead. I'm just going to actually destroy the corpse pit now. I think we actually might need another well. We don't have enough wells. One more over here. Let's get one over here wherever all the other houses are. And we're getting shit yields over here, so that's fun. And it looks like fertility is going down. Barley went down, you know, rye still 100. Yeah, so this was an old trick where you could multi-do it, right? I think you need to fallow. I don't think you can get away with it. And in fact, I don't think you can get away with it at all. It's hurting. The fertility's going down tremendously. So farming may have to be reevaluated completely. The shit farmland is always the shit, though. That's the thing. You can't ever get away from that. Not if you tried. But yeah, this is a good little view here. Going to scenic mode. Got my sheep. Going to visit mode. Got ourselves... Oh, geez Louise, man. Looks a little different. I wish I had a steed I could run around on. Got ourselves one horse here. One ox. There's all my sheepage. There's the sheep watcher. You just chilling. Yeah, this is good. I like the way... I actually like the ox. They're pretty cool to watch. Pretty big creatures. Rummaging through my area. This is the saw cutter. Ooh, this is kind of cool. I don't remember it being cool before, but there it is. Run around a little bit more. Wood splitter over there. Got a stone well right there. Got the church in the background. Very crisp. Very cool. Let's come back up to the top view. Church is upgraded. I have a feeling that we can finally build the manor. We can. Alright, we've committed to it. Let's get this done. Build this thing. And yeah, they were going at it. They've been going at it for a while. We got the back part over here now. But it's going to take them ages to build this. Luckily, I have 5 families that are helping out. We got all the stone, all the boards, everything in it. They just need to build now. So we're going to let them do that. A little top-down view. Oh yeah, there they go. They're getting the rampart area. Yeah, that's cool. We'll see if we can get our gents up there to defend it. I like that they have this like wooden notched area where the walls are gonna be. Making progress. Looks like they're building the wood part before the wall, so that's a little concerning. been like 2 months now, and they haven't moved much. Oh boy. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We're gonna have to like come back to this one. But the wall is looking super cool. And it's gonna look awesome when everything's up. And I'm wondering actually if I can upgrade the manor itself too. You're supposed to be able to shut your gates as well. They stole my wool. They stole 12 wool. That's like a huge crime here. That is a lot. Alright, yeah, and then the areas over here are not producing very well. They're just... I mean, we got 100% rye, 99% rye, 17% barley. I think you need that fallow. But we can try it. We'll leave a test. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, these yields aren't enough. And even... It's just bad. It's real bad. Well, it looks like they got close to getting all of it. So yeah, tier 3. We just need booze. Winter is coming. And we got a lot of sheep. I'm hoping that the wool starts picking up. We're still... Yeah, everyone's having this problem. They're going to patch this. I wouldn't put too much thought into this issue. Like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Because, I mean, I would complain because they need to change it. But I think they will change it because it's just kind of absurd. Yeah, we have 59 wool. So that's the other bottleneck then, is that you have a tailor and he is not a tailoring. And you can't have a tailor not a tailoring. You produce 4. Yeah, 4 in the last 3 days. We're using more than 4. This is a nightmare. Oh god. This is a nightmare. Yeah, how are we supposed to keep up with production? Mr. Taylor, tell me how to keep up 50% production. Okay. Let's set a reserve so that there's always yarn in this one. I think that could potentially help us too. But we're going to need multiple. So I can see why people are a little upset. It's almost like you need a... Nah, there's really no way to figure this out. One, you need everyone centralized around storage. I really want to... Now, knowing what I know, I really honestly want to start a whole new little settlement. You can do a bakery in here. Enables production of wheat and rye bread. That's cool. Yeah, because we don't really have enough to justify that. Armor, for sure. They can just wear chainmail instead of clothing, right? We can make that. So, yeah, we need another tailor's workshop. But you need clothing. They only consume clothing. And I guarantee you the higher tier people consume something a little bit different. But we're generating the taxes. I mean, we could boot up the taxes for wealth on the manor right now. And the manor is, you know, still progressing. We got some of the little area up for them to stay on, so that's cool. But this is going to take several years, it's looking like, and a lot of people. So that's a really interesting thing. So we'll have a level 2 manor, and that will make us, you know, the cool kids, right? And farming does not seem to be worth it in this area. It's just bad. Last 30 days we made 2 meat. That's really good-ish. No, it's not. It's terrible. It's not even 1 food a day. So it's... Yeah, food is a little bit more difficult. I mean, veggies, apples, all those things, super, super easy. But everything else, no. We're going to get this built. It's going to be beautiful. I say we start getting a little bit of the clay. Oh, no. I just took a pop-up cold. People are cold. They're not cold. We got plenty. Quit being jerks. Yeah, so I took a family away. So I'm wondering if what I should do is just, like, get everyone out of the quarry, right? Get everyone to the stonemason. Get everyone to the lime kiln. Do that dude there. Like, get, you know, 7 families over here. There we go. Let's get this thing built, gents. Alright, we got the mining pit. I'm gonna pull that dude out. We need to keep our tool production going. That's kind of an interesting thing, though, is tool production, like having, I think, a deep core mine is probably one of the most valuable things. And we have enough that we don't need to do it. We still have 783. And we have enough that we don't need to have a deep core, but having iron seems to be one of the more valuable things. Just simply because you need to keep up with that tool production for maintenance. And we can as you saw, increase how many tools we're using for maintaining buildings, like over here, the full maintenance, and that will increase, supposed to increase our yield. Last 30 days we got 6 iron ore for one person. It's when you do that though, you honestly should actually have more than one person. I am probably making a huge mistake. The same over here, the bloomery, I can jump it to 6. And that's gonna boot up the daily labor crafting speed. I may get a good yield that way. Maybe not though, it may not even be worth it. Those are some good questions, I'm not gonna lie. Like, is it even worth the cost, the tool cost? Because like literally it directly affects it. I'm not sure that I like that feature too much, to be honest. Alright, so I think I might need a couple people. I mean, they seem to be doing okay with one jet. Need to permanently assign the horsies there. Fisherman seems to be doing alright with 2 families. But that's what I'm talking about. It's just like, you know, what's the efficiency thing here? Fish on, still the same way. Daily labor, yield 67, and if food just seems kind of weird now. Like you can overproduce in one area and underproduce in others. It doesn't seem very balanced. Well, that is cool. We got ourselves up the gatehouse. Stone gatehouse. They're getting some progress. Where are my walls, people? We'll see what happens. If this thing builds with no walls, it's just giant ramparts, that'd be funny. We'll just we'll float in the sky. Royal tax has increased. Okay, so we need to start taxing. We need the manor to stop. We need the manor to be produced so we can tax again. We're in a little bit of a pickle here. We'll have to wait. Yeah, there's a bit of an animation thing here going on too. I'm wondering if you want to build your walls and then upgrade them. So we'll see if we have some kind of Frankenstein base. Oh man, I'm hoping it doesn't look bad. But we're barely pulling in any resources from the farming. So yeah, the land is just too crap. You know, I planted on like the best land I have. You can see the rye was 100%. I wonder if they nerfed the yields too, because you used to get so much. But we'll see. I think we need to wait a couple years to see what happens. 6s. Yeah, it's saying predicted harvest 6. 5. 6. That's crazy. Are they wanting us to use way more land than before? That's my question. Looks like we're getting somewhat close. There's still some stuff on the ground. We're getting there. We're getting there. Come on, guys. Alright. I'm really hoping those walls appear at some point. I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared where my walls are. Maybe they're waiting to build the walls. This is like what happens when you leave your castle in the ghetto. Just you come back and the walls are gone. Oh my god. Okay. Come on. Come on, guys. Please give me some walls. Well, we can come over here and look at some other stuff. We're not able to keep up with clothing at all. That's going to be like a whole dang thing. Trying to keep everyone clothed. I mean, the bigger you go, the harder it is. That could be, I mean, you may just have to get to a point where you're just comfortable not, you know, having people clothed. Oh man, look at that view. Yeah, we have to build a city here. This is like the coolest place. And you know what's funny is you could argue that the AI is building a very grid-like city and a very kind of crazy oh boy. Yeah, they got themselves in an accident over there. So this is cool. Because you can see across the way another city from over here. It'd be cool to take this spot and this spot and then have the 2 cities, right? See from across the way. Now, question is, can I build a bridge? Oh my god. Could you build a bridge from here to here? That would be so cool. Well, this area over here hasn't been claimed, right? So, let's see. None of, only 405. If I can get 405 boards, I could build a bridge across the lake. That'd be pretty funny. I don't know if we're gonna do that, but that'd be pretty good. Alright, I'm getting a little concerned. They haven't finished completely building it yet, but there are still no walls. All that work, all that anticipation for this. Okay. Well, you can't have everything. You cannot have everything. Okay, there we go. It popped up right. It popped up right at the right point. Okay, so the question is, how the hell do they get up into these things, right? Let's try it with one unit. Okay, we got our crossies. So we're gonna click right here. I may need to build something to get up on there. Okay, so I skipped a pretty critical step. Let's open the castle planner. Okay, so they can get in through the door. Maybe they need the outer tower to get up onto this. Yeah, here we go. I think they need an outer tower. So we get an outer tower like right here. On the other side. Yeah, there we go. We'll get an outer tower right there. And we'll commit to that. Oh no. Oh no, the game... Okay. The game almost... What the shit is going on? The game almost crashed on me. Well, I lost the user interface. This is interesting. Yeah, we lost the ability to see anything. I'm hitting Control C, go in and out of cinematic mode, so I'm gonna have to exit and reload. That was so weird. But at least we know what was going on, and we can fix it. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. The save I had. Oh god. The autosave I have is 6. Okay, it's only 6 minutes. That seems impossible. Alright, well, I'll just fast forward. And let's open the castle planner, right? And let's do this correctly. So we'll get the outer tower. You know, it's a little weird on those corners. Let's just put it right there. And yeah, so that's cool. See, it clips in and they can shoot from towers. That's how they're gonna get up. And there's an entry on the bottom, and they can walk up the stairs, it looks like. Every time I do this, though, I'm hitting commit again. It's having a very similar problem where everything is kind of breaking. Okay, my user interface is still there this time. I think we got it right. So we're just gonna wait. We got 8 families to work on this, and we'll just skip ahead. It looks like over here we had a little bit of an issue. That's okay. Oh, no, the user interface went away. Kind of cool is there's going to be a trade tax, mercenary tax, citizen tax, war tax, all these different taxes you can see planned. We have 2 residing families in here. That's cool. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put the tower on. I'm going to wait for an autosave to hit in 10 minutes. And then we'll try to load back in on that autosave. So we're just going to let it do its thing. It's the only way I can see how to power through this, because for some reason placing this building is causing... If I do it real quick, maybe save the game. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we saved after doing it. So now if I control alt delete after the fact... But yeah, it's just so weird that we're having this interface issue. And I don't know if it's permanent. It's just like a corruption of the game file. Maybe it won't do it this time, who knows? It seems like once they start working on it, though, get them over there, things get weird. But yeah, that's the warning. Before you put that stuff down, save the game. Oh, damn. Our sheep are going crazy. They need more pasture. Ah, crap. We lost, we lost our interface. As soon as I clicked on something, we lost it. This is pretty bad. Everybody's, not working. Okay, this is like one of those situations where you've encountered a bug that you can't fix. But I do want to try a couple of things because I'm curious. I'm curious if it's because I added something after the fact that it's airing out. We're gonna just delete the whole freaking manor. There we go. Manor deleted. And we're gonna build it all in one go. This could be an issue, right? I'm gonna build a manor kind of like right here. And so we're just gonna have the walls very simple, like this. Okay. And then we're going to select these walls and try to upgrade them. Everything's on the back end side. Oh my god. Everything is on the opposite side. It's so weird the way that it decides to do this. Oh, look at this. I can... Oh my gosh. You can just do this. Press that button, and then your problem is solved. There you go. Can't do it on the back side over here. I think that's okay. Well, that's cool. Alright, and then outer tower right there. They can get up on that area. We got some towers. They should have actually been able to walk up from the gate towers. And commit. Okay, so let's see if it freezes after doing it in one go. And that might be the trick. You just need to do it in one go. And these are good lessons. The smaller one too, so they should be able to build it faster. The last time it glitched when I started clicking on things, so... Yep, it did it again. It glitched. So there's something about that garrison tower that just hates you. But let's watch them build it anyway one more time. Alright, yeah, and you can see the sheep in the background are now following fields. I'd love to know if it's working. But yeah, I lost my user interface while I build this thing. Yeah, I actually kind of like the road going through it twice because you can lock the gates. So this is kind of a cool little castle. It's tighter together. Alright, it finished. So now all I'm really waiting on is for the autosave to kick in. Oh, the ramparts on the backside, that's why. Yeah, very cool. Once I see that it saves, we will reload and hopefully my interface will be back. And I'm hoping that this is the workaround. But this is looking pretty cool. This is a neat little castle. We got the thing on the backside. Very cool. Other people are having worse issues than me. They're just straight up crashing. We have a lot of sheep. We have an enormous amount of sheep. Tree line looks really cool. This whole area looks cool. Going uphill. This is definitely going to add a dimension to Manor Lords that's really awesome. Look at, oh my gosh. Look at the detail. Flying right in your face. Yeah, the detail on 4K is pretty crazy. You can see lines literally in... Oh my god, yeah, you can see every line in the wood. See all the details in the wall cracks. This is crazy. These two guys are awfully close. And they got hammers. And they're looking for love in all the right places, I think. This is definitely the right place for whatever they're trying to accomplish. I guarantee it. You got some folks over here chit-chatting. Alright. Yeah, so we just gotta wait for that autosave and then try to reload in. If the autosave hasn't been disabled as well. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool in the background, though. We finally have a manor. A manor worthy of our name. I got my pointer. Having a pointer is pretty cool, but can't see any detail. The tab tool works a little bit. Nope, no, now I pressed a button I shouldn't have. Pressed a button I should not have pressed. Okay, guys, this is obviously the end of the series. Holy cow. I don't know what to do about the manor not working. So other people are having issues with it too. But it was cool. It will be cool. This is why it's on a beta branch and it's not on the official branch because people will be losing their minds. So, thank you guys for watching. Special shout out to my patrons and members and everyone who supports the channel. As always, stay tuned for more. I'm hoping they start patching this soon. I'll definitely be coming out with a new series regardless, just going into some of their stuff. But we do need to be careful when we're building these manors now. And potentially what you want to do is build the wood one and then upgrade it. I have no idea if there's a workaround. I'll try to scour the Discord to see if there's something we can do. But have a good and glorious day.